up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Let's talk about it. It's April Dawn. What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. Let's talk about it. What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. Let's talk about it. This is the Undoing Season 1, Episode 6. So, we got the season finale this week, and although it was good, I enjoyed it, it was a little underwhelming for me. It was kind of anticlimactic. When I watched this whole thing, I was thinking, like, they could have made this into a movie. It didn't have to be a 6-part series, because we spend a lot of time staring out windows and having deep conversations that we could have probably skipped. I did enjoy the show. I didn't take a whole lot of notes because the episode was straightforward. I just want to say, I told you, Nick. I told y'all Jonathan did it. Now, acknowledge me when I'm right and correct me when I'm wrong. Shout out to Funky Dineva. I told y'all Jonathan was going to be the damn killer, and he was the damn killer, okay? I don't want to waste no time. Let's go ahead and get into it. I tried to put my lights down. I can't adjust the brightness on my lights, but I can put them a little, down so they're not shining directly on my face. So let me know what you think about this light. And I can't get too dark with it because I got to light up my green screen. But let me know what y'all think. I appreciate your comments and suggestions. Let's go ahead and get into this episode. We start off where we left off. So Grace finds the hammer that is in the violin case that Henry has. She looking at him, he looking at her, she looking at him, he looking at her, and she like, what is this? Why didn't you tell me what was going on? What happened? He says, I found it in the chimney at the beach house. Now, a lot of people had questions about why Henry would be looking through a broken chimney in the first place. Like, you just walking around messing with bricks and tearing stuff up. But okay, he found this in the chimney, and he said he didn't give it to her because she knew that he would turn it in. And this solidifies for him that his father is guilty of killing this woman. So they immediately tell Haley what's up, everything that's going on. And Haley is like, okay, she's spinning at this point. I know Haley be at the house like,
man, these white people got me. Listen, this is a white mess.
Haley come down there and Haley like, this some, God. He says, I don't know that this is the murder weapon. Apparently, she's an officer of the court to a certain extent. So she has a duty to report a murder weapon, no matter how incriminating it might be. Attorney-client privilege does not extend that far, okay? Like, some people think you can hide everything, but you're not supposed to. If you find something like this, you're supposed to turn it in if you know it's the weapon, but she doesn't know it's the weapon, even though she knows it's the weapon. You know what I'm saying? So she technically don't have to turn it in, and she don't pretzel herself and how logic herself around not turning this thing in. She advises them to not turn it in, and then the next breath she's saying, well, I can't advise you to conceal or destroy. And Franklin is like, girl, what? And she's like,
I can't advise you to conceal or destroy, bitch. I'm not about to lose my license paying with these white people.
And so they're like, okay, where is it right now? And Henry says something about he ran it through the dishwasher twice. Another question that came up a lot is, how the hell do Henry know how to even run the dishwasher? Because they have a staff that's ridiculous. They ride in Range Rovers. Franklin got a helicopter pad. I mean, these people clearly ain't washing no dishes, okay? But at the same time, I was like, well, that's the easy question. All you got to do is Google it. YouTube it. Kids can figure out how to do anything these days. So he ran it through the dishwasher twice, and he said that was to protect his father. And so Jonathan asked Grace to go talk to him in the other room, and he basically tries to throw Henry under the bus, saying, well, some people think they know their kids, and maybe I don't know him like I thought I knew him. And, I'm saying he might have did it. Basically saying that Henry could have done this. Who knows? And he did try to tell Haley that Lorenzo, or whatever his name is, I can't remember his name, y'all. I know it started with an L, but the husband of Elena followed him. Maybe he followed him up there to the lake house or something, and he put it up there to frame him. Sir, are you kidding us, sir? Like, you taking this way out. Okay, you doing too damn much. That's when we find out that he had took Elena to that house several times, and Franklin jumped up. Franklin was us, okay? When he said, because I brought her here sometimes, Franklin said,
I know you're lying. Not at my mama house.
Listen, Franklin geriatric ass is finna get up and beat the hell out of Jonathan with his cane, okay? Like, Franklin was pissed, and I was pissed too. Franklin is literally us this whole season, like, girl,
what is going on, sis?
Haley tells them if they find this weapon, it's game over.
Who they want? Flip, flip, flip. Who they want? Flip, 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 a game over.
If they find the hammer, it's a wrap for him. Franklin and Grace talk, and Franklin is like, girl, like, you a psychologist, good sis. Like, you can see everything. You can see how things are going to play out. You see the future. Like, you see this all the time. You deal with this type of stuff all the time. Girl, what is wrong with you? Can't you see what's going to happen right now? And she tells Franklin, yes, I see. And she leans in and she gives him a hug. This one I was like, she about to step into her, you know what I'm saying? She about to step into her womanhood right now and handle some business. She calls Sylvia and she tells Sylvia that she needs to talk to her. She wants her to take a walk with her early in the morning. And she says that she needs her to do a favor. So I knew them two was cooking up something. We get to the trial again, back on trial. Haley calls Miguel to the stand. Now, Miguel is Elena's son, we know. And so she, you know, everybody's shocked and appalled because we thought that she was going to call the detective or whatever, but she called Miguel. So Miguel came up there and she was fairly gentle with him, but this whole line of questioning was just real suspect to me. Like, Haley, you know, I watch, maybe I'm just desensitized because I watched How to Get Away with Murder so many times and I seen Annalise slaughter people on the stand that I don't really feel no type of way about this, but it was, you know, shady and wrong and outrageous for her to put this boy on the stand after 10-year-old boy after his mama done been bludgeoned to death, okay? So Miguel gets up there and Miguel starts saying, well, she starts asking Miguel questions about where did he go to sleep? Who was there, you know, at the night? Did you sleep through the night? And he says he usually get up to go to the bathroom, but he don't think he got up that night. You know, he slept through the night. And he asked him, do your mother and father argue? Do they argue? And he said, yes, they argue all the time. She says, well, does it scare you? And he says, like, he's clamming up at this point, you know, like he's starting to cry. He's starting to get upset. And she basically brings him to the conclusion that he did tell one of his teachers that when his mom and his dad argue with each other, that it's really scary. Okay, so this is just like a little doubt that we're throwing in back at the dad, right, to say that he is the one that killed Elena. So that was absolutely wrong. Poor boy was crying. You know, they had to get him off of there. So after that was over, you know, dad comes into the room with a Haley and them, and he going off. He pissed. You people are vile. You people are horrible. No, you're crazy. And he started knocking all the stuff off the counter, and the bailiff had to come get him out the room. At the same time, we see the prosecutor going into the bathroom, and we see that Sylvia is there. And the prosecutor, baby, she is going through. She was like, that was obscene. That was out of line. This is toe up behind this, okay? And so Sylvia looks at her longingly. And then she goes to say something and we don't see what's said. Probably the conversation that was had between her and Grace. Now, we don't know at this moment if they're in cahoots. I mean, I put two and two together. They was in cahoots with each other, but just for the sake of argument, we didn't know if she was doing it on purpose or she was doing it because she was betraying her friend. After they're done with everything that's going on in the trial, Grace tells them that she wants to testify. She thinks that, you know, people can relate to her like Haley said, and, you know, she can get up there and talk, speak to his, you know, speak to who he is. She is a psychologist, and I wonder why during this entire series they never really got into that subplot more. She obviously has a successful business being a psychologist. So you telling me that you've been a clinical psychologist for 20 years and maybe you didn't know your husband was cheating on you, but you would at least recognize some things in his personality at some point. I mean, 20 years? Come on, girl. Expect us to go leaps and bounds in this series, girl, because I still can't believe Jonathan went over there to that man's house, especially after knowing he was the damn killer, girl. I just don't know. They put her on the stand. So Grace is up there and she is giving, you know, supportive wife. He would never do this. He's a person who has empathy. He saves life, and it would be untenable for him to take a life. I've never known him to be violent. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So then the prosecutor comes up and the prosecutor is like, girl, you never know him to be violent, but didn't you tell the police you was terrified of him? And she was like, I was terrified. I had a moment of fear. You know, then I realized that I wasn't in any danger at all. And so then they played a 911 call saying that he's here. I don't know. He's wanted for murder, which the 911 call really didn't do nothing for me, because if my husband was accused of murder, even though I think he's not violent, I don't know him. He accused of murder. Somebody needs to come up here. That was kind of disproving herself to say, you know, he was violent. Clearly, you know, you thought he was violent. You was terrified of him. You wanted the police to come and rescue you after he came up there and grabbed you on the back of your neck. Okay, that was one thing they proved that was a lie. Another thing they asked about was, have you spoken to his mother? Do you know his family? They asked about the little girl or whatever, or the incident happened. I spoke to the mother a couple weeks ago. She told me about the incident with a sister. Apparently the sister wandered out the house, got hit by the car, the whole 9 yards, right? And so they said, well, did she talk to you about his trauma? Now the whole time Haley is objecting because this is hearsay. Now I watched enough court shows to know that this is hearsay, but whatever they said, it was the whatever. So it allowed Grace to keep talking because Grace was the defense witness. If she had been a prosecution witness and they went down that questioning, that Haley could have objected. But you can't object to your own witnesses' cross-examination when it's under that rule. So they got around the spousal privilege by getting in cahoots and getting Haley to put her on the stand. That's why she was able to mess over them. So basically she tells the whole sister story and how he had no remorse. And the mother said she doesn't know how to suffer. And, you know, and then they go into the, didn't you talk to your friend Sylvia? You told your friend Sylvia what the mama said. And you told your friend Sylvia that you think your husband is a narcissistic personality disorder, right? He was grandiosity was one of the main things. I tell y'all, I know because I've been in a relationship where I was manipulated all the time. I was made to think that I was, you know, crazy and, you know what I mean? Like I was just assuming things and I wasn't. And, you know, so I understand, well, I could understand and see what he was trying to do. He was trying to manipulate everybody into weaving himself into this pattern. If I got you and you asking a whole lot of questions or questioning what you think about me or, you know what I mean, enough, you will start to doubt yourself. You will start to doubt if what you think that is bad is really bad. Am I tripping? You know what I mean? So that's what he was trying to do. And I could see that shit a mile away. Okay. Prosecutor basically disproves everything this lady done said on the stage, saying about her husband. He knows that they was in cahoots because as soon as she get off the stand, she gave his ass the death stare. And I was 100% here for the shit. Okay. They walked out. Haley was pissed. I was like, Haley, girl, you done fumbled the bag, sis. You done fumbled the bag, Haley. But Haley was pissed. They were both pissed. They knew they had been screwed over. It's not too much that's gonna happen after that. You know, you're probably gonna go down for that because she couldn't have turned in the hammer because that was gonna implicate Henry. He could have got charged with obstruction of justice. So that's the route she decided to go so that she would be able to get them to put Jonathan ass in jail, which she should have did a long time ago. I don't understand how you could be a psychiatrist for all these years. Like I said, at the very least, he cheated on you. He had a baby on you. He lied to you about having a job. He took $500,000 from your daddy that we never found out nothing about. That was just a plot line or a mention that was thrown out there that we never found anything about. At the very least, he need to be gone out of your life, period, whether he's a murderer or not. So I'm mad it took her 6 whole episodes to come to this conclusion. We see Franklin and Henry, they're talking to each other, and basically Franklin is like, listen, you know, your mama had to protect you, so she had to throw your daddy under the bus because if she would have gave them the hammer, that would have put you in jail. So although Henry didn't really want his daddy to go to jail, he's still kind of torn about the situation. He's like, okay, well, I understand why she did what she did. She did tell him early in the episode that she wanted what was best for him. He asked her, you know, do you want this family to get back together? And he asked her the same question. And so she was like, I want what's best for you. Next day, we are back at court. And the night before that, when Henry was brushing his teeth and getting ready for bed, he got a text from his father. Now, I don't know what the text said because I can't see that far. But I knew he got a text from his dad. I didn't even have to see the names on it to know it was from his dad. So the next day, we back at court, and Haley looks and she's like, where is Jonathan? And she's like, he's not here. He's not here? No, he's not here. Girl, he's supposed to be at the court. And so Henry didn't show up to school. And so now we need to call the damn authorities. We see a press conference and an Amber Alert has been put out for Henry. They're giving his description. We see Henry and Jonathan driving down the street. Jonathan is talking crazy. He's talking about, you know, his legacy and how they're going to go on this road trip. And he's making all these little small talking jokes. All the jokes and small talk and little fun facts that he was doing at the beginning of the season that we thought was kind of charming. It's definitely weird right now. It's giving me, I'm a sociopath and I'm trying my best to act like a human, but this is not the correct emotion for what we're going through right now. We see that he's crumbling and he's falling apart and he knows that he's backed into a corner. So, I think Jonathan, like I said, he's a narcissist. So I don't think he actually loves Henry or his wife. I think that he's in love with the idea of them loving him. And so the fact that those people are turning on him, and the fact that Grace outsmarted him, which I don't think he thought that Grace could do because he's a narcissist, right? It's starting to really affect him. It's making him fall apart. So now he got his son. And, you know, I think that when you watch the after show, the little extra, they had the boy who plays Henry said that the bond was broken. A bond was broken when they was driving in that car, and he's telling him, Dad, please stop. Please let me out. You cannot do this. We can't just take no road trip. He says when the truck came and they almost got in an accident, that's when the bond was broke. It was like, okay, now you crazy as hell. Please let me out this car. You gonna kill me? Like I said, he's going on and on about his legacy, and that's what they want his legacy to be. That's the grandiosity. Because, sir, you're just one person. This nigga walk around like he Martin Luther King, okay? Like, child, ain't nobody worried about your legacy. Pull over and let this boy out the car. So at this point, the helicopters is following them, the police is following them, everybody is following them. They on the bridge. He gets out the car, he gets on the bridge like he gonna jump off the bridge, but I knew damn well he wasn't finna jump off no bridge because a narcissist loves themselves too much to kill themselves. Unless they absolutely have no other choice but to kill themselves, they are not going to kill themselves. So he climbed up on that thing, child, and I knew he wasn't gonna jump. I knew he wasn't gonna jump. At this time, Henry is begging him to get down. Grace she got there on a helicopter with Franklin. I wonder how many times Nicole Kidman had to do that scene, because I feel like she had to do it a whole lot, because that hoe was running and screaming. I know that was tiring, but she was running and screaming for her son. She finally gets to Henry, and this nigga turned around like,
Grace, I'm so sorry, Grace. I'm so sorry. Come here. Give me a hug.
Give you a hug?
At this point, which I saw on the after show, the young man who plays Henry said that you have to notice that when Grace took Henry and Henry turned around, he did not turn back around. When Jonathan called his name 2 or 3 times, screamed his name, Henry never turned around because Henry realized there is something fundamentally important about the truth. Okay? You cannot be doing this crazy shit and think that you above the law. I think right there he realized that he is going to join the Peace Corps. He gonna let his hair grow long and curly. He is gonna marry a black girl or a Brazilian girl because he gonna be down there in the Peace Corps in Brazil, okay? He gonna turn away from this whole rich life because this done traumatized. Poor Henry gonna need therapy forever behind these damn people. So that's it, y'all. They get in a helicopter and they just fly away and leave him there getting tackled by the police. Cole Kidman said something about leaving the end of the show open. That's what the director wanted to do. They wanted to leave it kind of open-ended. And I thought that I did forget to mention that they asked Jonathan, what did he do before he went to the lake? And he said he came home. He came home. He had sex with his wife. He didn't say that part, but that's what we know what happened. And then he went and took his outfit to the dry cleaner, his tux to the dry cleaner. So you're not gonna make me believe somebody's taking a whole tuxedo that's has blood on it, because he bashed that lady head in. You know he had blood on his tuxedo and nobody ain't saying nothing. Okay, so you had just saw somebody got bludgeoned to death supposedly and you went to the lake house? Like, are you kidding me? And Nicole is thinking about, or Grace is thinking about, the fact that he came home and they had sex and all that. Girl, he is crazy, girl. While all of this is happening, we got to see Jonathan kill Elena. So basically what happened was, Elena was a little throwed off. Okay, Elena was talking about, oh, I saw your wife, and you know, she's very nice and she's been so kind to me, and you know, oh, Henry is so nice, he can be like a big brother to Miguel. Oh, that would be so great. Like, she was talking out the side of her neck. Like, girl, you knew you was a side piece. Okay, like, I don't know what you thought this was, but yeah, she got it. She was a little throwed. So Jonathan tells her, girl, I'm gonna need you to stay away from my wife and stay away from my family, or I'm gonna hurt you. And she was like,
you will never hurt me, and you will never leave me.
He was like, I will hurt your ass and I will leave you. She was like, you will never leave.
And you will never hurt me.
And so he's like, girl, I'm about to leave you right now. Boom, he dropped the keys and he leave out. She grabs the hammer and she tries to hit him with it. And so he's like, girl, what the hell is wrong with you? He turned around, he grabbed the hammer and he hit her with it like in her back. You know, not in her head yet, but he hit her a couple of times and she like ducking and dodging. The second time, he knocks her on the ground and she's on her back. Then she's like, please don't hit me. And he just looked at her, y'all, and he bashed that lady in the head. Like, that was the worst part of the show, hard to watch. Like, he bashed that lady in the head 11 times, okay? I was like, wow. It was just like he had a pause for a second, and he just bash. So when he was riding the car with Henry, it was like, he was saying it wasn't him, it was somebody else. And whenever they get through this, he's gonna get back to his other self. It's like, I don't know, y'all. Jonathan is really throwed off, okay? So, yeah, the episode ends with Grace and Henry and Franklin ride up in the helicopter, you know, gone on, and Jonathan gonna go on to jail. So, I heard in the book that Jonathan was the killer, even though I tried my best to get no spoilers. Yeah, after it was over, everybody was like, you know, basically, Jonathan did it in the book as well, but the book is different. They deviate a lot. They're not super rich or anything like that. But these are questions that I felt didn't get answered. They just kind of threw some things out there that they didn't really answer. That's why I feel like those things were kind of unnecessary, and it could have been just a movie instead of a 6-part series. But why was Franklin outside of Elena's apartment looking in the window at her husband? I know that Elena was an artist, and I know that Franklin likes art. But it's one thing to like somebody's art and know they're an artist. It's another thing to know their address. Okay, so that's the problem for me. I didn't know why that happened. I already mentioned the $500,000. Why would you even tell us that if you're not going to tell us what the $500,000 was for? Why was Elena's husband following Grace? That was an empty storyline that never ended up being nothing. He never warned her about anything. He never did anything. He was just following her. I saw some people had an issue with how Grace ended up in Harlem. And, you know, Harlem, and they live in Manhattan, but then somebody from New York broke it down for us and said, okay, they lived on the Upper East Side. They lived close to the Met. So it was like a 20-block walk to Harlem, and for New Yorkers, that's not a big deal. So that was one of my questions as well, but that question has been answered. So overall, was it the best series I ever saw? Probably not. No, it wasn't. But it definitely was a good watch, especially during this time where there's literally nothing on TV, okay? So I'm about to go watch Fargo right now. I don't know if that review going to be up today or tomorrow, but it will be up this week. And I think this week we're going to get Power back again. So I'll start doing Power again. But I watched Industry. One of my viewers wanted me to watch that show Industry on HBO Max, and I just can't get into it. I mean, I understand they're young, they're in investment banking, they're trying to compete against each other or whatever, but it just wasn't my cup of tea. I watched the first episode and I was just like, I don't know. I might try to watch it again. We'll see what happens or whatever. So if y'all have any shows for me that you would recommend, I'm really into the HBO Max. Really want this money from me, y'all, because they really got some good stuff coming on. So HBO Max, I have Hulu, I have Netflix, I have Prime Video. Okay, that's what I have. So if you have any suggestions for me for something, I like to do things with black people in it, but if it don't have no black people in it, that's okay too. We're just looking for things to watch and, you know, kind of get us through this time where we really don't have any good shows going on or whatever. So I haven't watched A Million Little Things, and I don't know if I want to review that, y'all. I don't know. Okay, so I want to hear what you guys thought about this season finale. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will holler at you guys on the next one. Peace.